Did you watch Crawford? Yeah, I did watch Crawford. I thought that was a really good fight. What is it, Madrimov or something? I can't remember the gentleman's name too well, but when I was watching, I was impressed by both men. I honestly I didn't think that it was as wide for Crawford as the decision. When I was watching live, I thought the other gentleman was taking some rounds off him, but Crawford was so sensational about him. Madrimov, that's it. Thank you so much. Peace and love in the chat said that. Great shout. Thank you. Israil Madrimov. This guy, what he brings to the table is he's like, he's doing all this like jittery movement. He's very hard to get a beat on. And you could see Crawford is like trying to line up these like powerful counters. And he's got fast hands too. Like Crawford is just a real son of a gun to be in there with, because you see how good he really is. Like you're just seeing Crawford make these reads. He's throwing big shots up the middle. He's finding his uppercuts. He's finding his range on these different shots. And Madrimov would connect. Like he'd land these right hands. He'd like touch him with these shots. He'd even like push him back a little bit. But I could just tell there wasn't much like impact. For Madrimov just could not generate the same impact, which is crazy. Thinking that this guy is coming up from a weight class down and he was still landing the bigger shots, I felt pretty substantially. Crawford would just hit so hard. When he would go off in those combinations, he's fast, he's clever. And the thing that really stood out, I forget who said this, but I saw somebody tweet this. I wish I could give them credit. If you guys know who it was, y'all please say it in the comments. But somebody had said, like, great fighters, they just find a way to take over late in the fight. And that is exactly what I thought we were witnessing from Terence Crawford. Is I thought going into round 11, the fight was in the balance. And I thought rounds 11 and 12, Terence Crawford said, this is my fight. I'm going to walk forward, take the fight. And I thought that was impressive. I thought that Crawford probably earned it in those last two rounds. Again, if they had said draw, I would have believed that. That would have been the one time I wasn't thinking, wow, what a fishy boxing draw, right? I actually thought that was a fair candidate for a draw. I thought both guys did great work, and ultimately, it was just a lot of close rounds. So close rounds can lead to one guy winning by a couple rounds that you didn't expect. And, one of the commentators, I forget who it was saying that they thought, he was running away with it. Crawford's going to win by a lot. And he did. He did end up winning, pretty big on the scorecard. So shout out to Terence Crawford. I think he's a sensational fighter. Omaha, Nebraska, stand the hell up. This guy is a very talented guy. And when you think about being from a small market like that, he's done sensational things for his life, changed his family's life effectively forever, become an all-time great. And I do think when you talk about Crawford, one thing you got to remember is he's got this, like wrestling about him, right? Like if you've ever watched, the guys had these videos of him sprawling, wrestling, like doing these things. He's got a wrestling background, makes sense from Omaha, Nebraska. But when you're thinking about what he was really able to show in that fight is when Madrimov was trying to clinch, when Madrimov was trying to like bail himself out of some like bad positions, Crawford is a motherfucker. Like he will dig underhooks. He will like get back underneath you and rip to your body. He's really hard to hold on to. And that for me was another defining feature of that fight. What made Crawford come away victorious is he just did the better work on the inside. You had two guys that were both, I thought, doing a great job managing the fight, picking their spots. But I thought once they got to those close quarters engagements, you just saw that Crawford could do more damage and he could just unload with faster, more accurate combinations. Very, very good fight. Very good fight. One thing I like to draw a distinction. You guys will see me get frustrated sometimes because I've watched so many fights at this point in my life. I've watched so many MMA, UFC fights. When guys are out there not trying to finish the fight, it's frustrating to me because that, for me, is the essence of fighting. It's the one thing that changes fighting from all these other sports, right? What is a football game? 4 quarters. It's 4 quarters, maybe in overtime. That's a football game, right? No matter, I could beat you by 60. It's 4 quarters. the thing that makes fighting, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, these sports, what makes them different is the air of finality. The fact that at one point, if I make a mistake, everything's over. It's like I could have done everything perfect to this point. I screw up now and I lose. Doesn't matter. I'm up by 18, 20, right? Like imagine a soccer game. I'm up by 10. It's like, all right, score a couple. It's not even interesting, whereas like I'm up by 1,000,000 points in fighting, right? I've won every round. You hit me with one big shot, the fight's over. Everything's different. Everything changes. And Terence Crawford in that fight had an opportunity, like a lot of guys, to go out there and just leave it in the hands of the judges, so to speak, right? Where it's like, let's not do anything and then make them decide, you're nothing or mine nothing. Whose was more, eye-catching, right? You not doing anything or me not doing anything. That's sometimes what we get in fights, right? Where it's like, what do they really leave us to score? Not much, right? So we have to turn something and somebody's got to win, something's got to happen, but it doesn't really feel very satisfying. Terence Crawford looked like he wanted to finish the fight. He looked like he tried to finish the fight. He looked like he pursued the finish. So even though he didn't get it, you didn't come away feeling gypped as a fan, saying to yourself, man, this guy, Terence Crawford, just, let him off the hook. Why didn't he throw? Why didn't he try and get him out of there? He did everything he could, it looked like, to get him out of there. He had a tough opponent. He had a skilled opponent. He did everything. He tried, landed a lot of hard shots. The other guy showed heart. He showed toughness. He threw back. He landed his own shots. That, for me, is the essence of fighting, is as long as both guys are trying the whole time to put the other guy away, I'm cool with it if it goes the distance. But it's when you're not trying to put the other guy away, when everybody's content to go 15 minutes, well, then go play baseball or go fucking pick another sport where they set aside, this is the time limit, and that's what they care about. Don't leave it in the hands of the judges. Take it away, or at least show me that you wanted it. Yeah, I tried to finish it. I did everything I could. This guy just wouldn't go away. It's a two-man sport, right? You can't always finish somebody. Sometimes somebody's going to be super resilient, but did you try to finish? And if the answer is no, I feel you didn't do your job as a fighter. Job is to try and finish. We're trying to finish fights. Fighting. The essence of fighting. Dominant. You don't want to fight where you're just doing nothing, right? It's not the doing nothing business. It's the fight business. So I think as long as you're pursuing that finish, as long as you're trying to, get the judges out of the way, that's always what I want to see in a fight. So whether that's a mixed martial arts contest, you're looking for the submission, you're looking for the knockout, you're looking to make them quit. I don't care if they just say uncle, right? But that's what I think of as a fight. And that's why I didn't care that fight went the distance. Hey, they went out there and fought the whole time. So I was about that fight. I enjoyed that. And I'm glad somebody asked about it, because I don't always talk about boxing or some of the other, events that I watch, niche events, wrestling, things like that, but they're still interesting. And I'm glad that you guys, care.